Hello YouTubers, Felix here, and welcome to another weekly rant video. And today I'm not joined by the tutor, but only by Baseball Lover, but he'll do it.
Hi.
So, we got some interesting topics this one. We have one very controversial topic, but we'll get onto that later. Let's first start with one of the best topics, I believe is, and it's the Tour wildcards. There are 4 teams awarded with a wildcard. Those 4 were Britannia, Cofidis, IM Cycling, and NetApp. What do you think of each of those teams? And do they deserve it?
NetApp, they definitely have Koenig, and they've earned their GT wildcards before. So it's very exciting to see them get into it. They definitely have some great riders, but they were automatically in once they got Chavanel because you wouldn't have it without Chavanel according to the tour people. They have that one French guy that got them in. Cofidis, they're just Cofidis, they get in.
Basically.
And Britannia, I mean, they could have put MTN Quebec in here. They have some better riders like Cholik, but they got to fill their French quota. In my opinion, if Sojasin was still a team, they wouldn't have made it. But Britannia got a lucky break, so I'm not really that surprised. I am glad that NetApp and IM got in, and yeah.
Well, the thing is, the Tour de France guys, they always look for 2 French teams and 2 non-French teams, so that's how it's been for the last couple of years. And I mean, Britannia, they only got in because they bought most of the Soisun guys, so that's the reason they got in. But I'm pleased to see IM Cycling and NetApp, because IM Cycling both have Chavanel and Hendrik Hausler, and I want to see how those guys can actually do in some of the stages. Because Hendrik Hausler is not slow; he can get top 10 in a sprint. Plus, Sylvain Chavanel is known for his flavorful attacks. Also, I want to say that Cofidis with Daniel Navarro, who got top 10 last year in the Tour de France, or he was close to being top 10, I think. But he's a nice little thing, and he's a previous Saxo Bank rider, so gotta give him some love. But that's pretty good. Speaking about the Tour de France, there's one thing that we've been talking about before, but it just got confirmed. Nairo Quintana said that he's officially not going to the Tour de France this year. He's gonna aim for a Vuelta and Giro d'Italia double. What do you think about that?
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed for a couple of reasons, because I feel like now the Giro is going to be a lot less exciting, because it's kind of, if he prepares for it, I think he's got it. And also the Tour is going to be less exciting because you're going to have Nibali to challenge Froome, but I mean, we saw last year the only guy who could really effectively challenge Froome was Quintana, and now he's gone. So now you gotta hope that guys like Perito and them all go to the Tour, and I doubt it.
Yeah, it takes some of the fun out of it. I don't understand your view of that, but I mean, I think Quintana's thinking like this. He knows he can't beat Froome this year, so he might just wait till next year and then just develop a bit more by going to the Giro and the Vuelta, get in some victories, and then go for the Tour. Because we saw the same thing with Nibali last year. Nibali knew he couldn't win the Tour de France, so he just went to the Giro d'Italia and the Vuelta a España to get some sort of recognition, some sort of like results out of his year, instead of going to the Tour de France and being a fiasco. But this year he's trying it. I mean, I can't blame him for trying. But I guess that's kind of sums up. We've really talked about this topic a lot in the previous episodes. So if you want to hear us talk about this topic, go to some of the earlier rants and hear about those. But this one, very controversial topic. Actually, there's two controversial topics in this one, but this one I really enjoy actually. So it seems like there is Clenbuterol in meat in China and Mexico. But this means that Contador might have not been doped, because Michael Rogers got caught for doping not too long ago after riding the Tour of Japan, and so did some other guys, and so therefore UCI decided to take a look into these meats and these restaurants and stuff, and they actually found out that there is this doping ingredient in these food ingredients. So it turned out that Contador's story about eating meat that was infested by doping might actually have been true, and he got banned for 2 years without a valid reason. What do you think about this one?
I'm calling BS.
Your?
Because he was caught for Clenbuterol during the Tour de France, and that's not in China or Mexico. And so if you ate the dope, I doubt it would stay in your system too long where you could get caught. So if he got caught the second week of the Tour de France, unless he just took a trip to China for the rest day, I'm still pretty confident that he doped.
That might be true, but I mean, it's what about Michael Rogers and the other 2 or 3 guys who got caught for
Yeah, well,
doping?
he was in Japan, so maybe
Because
he
that's a
just.
very because it's very interesting. Because if it can happen, they might give Contador reasonable doubt, and he might get some sort of compensation for his 2 years. Because there's no way you can say that Contador didn't dope, or he did dope and didn't dope. There's now reasonable doubt in this, so he might actually
Mm.
get some money. But I don't know if he cares about the money because he was out for 2 years, which is really bad for the team and for Contador. But what do you think about this? How do you punish restaurants who put this sort of thing in their meat? Because it's not illegal in the world of food ingredients, but it's illegal in the world of cycling. Like, how do you handle this?
Um.
It's a very
Hmm.
difficult question, actually.
You can't. There's nothing the authorities can do if you're not doing anything illegal, and it's up to the riders to kind of know that. So I don't know. I think that there's really no way that you can punish the restaurant. As long as clenbuterol isn't damaging to like the health of people, you then there's nothing that they can do, and I think that that's where it becomes the rider's responsibility to know these type of things. But it's impossible to know unless you ask. And who just goes up to restaurants like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat some steak. Ooh, does this have clenbuterol in it by any chance?"
And they probably
Like,
wouldn't say yes either.
yeah.
So,
So it's like it's unavoidable. There's really no way it can work out. That's why you just can't, take your rest day to Mexico or China.
so what you're saying is that you just stay away from food while you're in Japan or Mexico. You don't eat anything.
Just
Although,
don't eat your steak. Just
yeah,
don't eat a steak.
well, that's gonna be rough because there's a lot of races in South America and in Asia, so that might be tough. That might be a problem that the UCI needs to look into and might actually make this drug legal, because they might have to, which could hurt the sport.
Yeah,
Because
but is it performance enhancing?
it
I would
is, but
assume so.
see, but
So you can't legalize it.
but the thing is, you can also just go to. Let's say you have a Christmas trip. You go to Japan. You eat a steak, and you deliberately eat a steak to get doped, and then you ride a race like the week after, and you say, "Well, I went to trip in Japan for Christmas, so no way you can punish me."
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
that's like it's so difficult because now people know that this is kind of legal. Like it's on the edge of being correct. You can abuse the system now if you're actually willing to take a trip to either Mexico or Japan.
Exactly.
So they need to figure something out because if they're smart and you want to win stuff, you can go there. And who I might say that Horner might have visited Japan before going to the Vuelta.
Oh yeah, he
Um,
could have definitely maybe he just went south of the border, you know,
basically.
had a steak or
Speaking about
two.
Horner, he actually got a new home. There was some talk about him going to different teams. Christina watches on phone
Christina
and stuff. It didn't turn out. It was all
Let's
just blabber.
elaborate.
But he actually found a home, and it's with Lamprey Merida. Or they're something Lamprey, something
Oh
else now
yeah.
actually. What
Lamprey Mega Goal or something.
sounds like that. So what do you think about Horner's new home? Would he fit into the Lamprey team? And why the heck would they sign a guy like this?
Well, they've been in the past. They've had some sketchy situations with riders. Um, and so I guess that means he does fit in. I mean, they they didn't really help their reputation in any way by doing this, and I mean, now you're just causing even more suspicion because now what happens when he goes to a race and he crushes in it, and people are like, he didn't even know he had a ride, he wasn't training or anything with a team. So now you've just caused even more suspicion for Horner, which means more suspicion for the team. Like, I can't see why they would ever do this. I mean, they waited this long. I thought that it would hold out.
Yeah. I mean, no Pro Tour team. I myself thought that no Pro Tour team would have the balls to sign Horner. It's too big of a risk.
Yep.
Because he's packing so much heat. Like UCI know, or ASO, or whoever is the doping controllers, are gonna keep an eye on your team from now on out. Because you have
Hmm.
Horner, and he did something very unbelievable that no one would ever think he could do, but he did it. And now you're on the ASO scanner, and now you're gonna have a terrible season. Because you're gonna get molested by the ASO,
Yep.
which is gonna suck.
They
Speaking of,
better spread their ass cheeks and just wait for the ASO to just go right in.
exactly, that's how it's gonna be. Speaking about transfers, another big transfer that we haven't spoken that much about is well, that's a crash in my PCM right there. But Sammy Sanchez was supposedly going to Cofidis and he would fit in there with Daniel Navarro, but he ended up
Man,
going to the American team BMC. What do you think about this being an American?
Oh my god. Well, I thought when I heard he was going to Confidus, I actually thought that was a great idea. Confidus is the kind of team where he would fit in. They get a tour wild card every year, but he's declining, and so he wouldn't be expected to go and be like, I'm gonna win a GT. He would be expected to get the stages, maybe go for the mountains jersey again. Do something. On that team, he would fit in. He's got guys like Navarro and
Rain
just
Tarame,
Rain Terame. Is Koppel still on that team?
Jerome Koppel. Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he is.
Yep. So like those are the kind of guys that he would fit in with at this point in his career. They go to the tour, they make an impact, they do something good. Now he's on BMC, and I don't know why BMC would sign him, to be honest. As a big time World Tour team, you got this declining guy, and he's not getting any younger, he's not getting any better. You already have some trouble with guys who are starting to age on your team. Guys like Evans, guys like Tor Hushoff, they're aging,
Gilbert.
and so you even Gilbert, yeah. So you bring in a guy like Sammy Sanchez, who's aging just as much, and you're putting all your hope basically for the future into your Americans now. Guys like Van Garderen and Finney. And I just don't think that you should do that. I mean, he doesn't. What is he going to do on their team? He's not leading GTs anymore. I mean, they always have needed another guy that could, like, get those kind of wins after Matthias Frank. So, this might have been a good idea a couple of years ago. Like, if they had signed him when they had signed Hushoft and them, back when he was still winning Pace Vasco and stuff.
Definitely.
Now, nowadays, like, what is he gonna do? He's gonna help Evans try to win the Giro? Like, I'm not really sure exactly what their thought process was. I mean, he's not really. Who is he gonna super domestique for? That's his role. Because you got a guy like Van Garderen who basically flopped in the Tour last year after showing his strength in 2012. And so he's not really doing very well. And then you got a guy like Evans who's declining rapidly.
But he's showing some form though, Evans. And
Evans has shown some form, but I'm pretty sure he said it himself that this is the first time he's gone to Australia trying to actually do anything. If he's peaking this early in the season, maybe that's not such a good thing. I mean, he's still a good rider, but it's not really the point where he's going to go and win a GT, and he's only declining from here. Whether
that's true.
he's on good form or not, that doesn't mean that his skill level is staying the same.
Well, the thing is about Samuel Sanchez is, as you mentioned before, do you take him as a leader and let your big talents decline? Do you put your trust in your big talents and let him do mystique for those talents? Or do you go for Samuel Sanchez and make your talents do mystique for this old guy? Because I believe that I'm a guy, I love underdogs, I love talents, and I would love to see TJ Van Garderen lead, or get a chance again in the big Grand Tour, and have a guy like Samuel Sanchez protect him, give him some experience and stuff. But knowing how the cycling world works, it's gonna end up Samuel Sanchez is gonna be the leader in the tour, and you have Van Garderen and Evans protecting him, and that just doesn't work in my opinion. That's not
It
a
doesn't.
long-term solution.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is going to happen is that because Sammy Sanchez hasn't had much success in the Vuelta, that he'll go to the Tour, and then Evans, who led in the Giro, will go for him, and then Van Garderen will go for him, and that's disappointing to me because Van Garderen's really their only guy that's got results at this point and is getting better, and the Tour is the only Grand Tour that remotely fits him because the Giro is way too mountainous and not enough time trial. And the Vuelta is more punchy, which doesn't fit his climbing style. So the Tour is really where he has to be developing. You can't really be like, okay, we'll send him to the Giro this year, like maybe you can with Quintana. But Sammy Sanchez now, if he worked for Van Garderen, that would be fine. But he's not going to do that, and blatantly, I just wouldn't be that comfortable with that idea that he's like working for him because they're two different style riders. It's not even like the same level of
Definitely.
skill. They're totally different skills.
Actually, I would have expected a Spanish team to pick out Samuel Sanchez just How,
Exactly.
he fits in on the Spanish team. Like he's been on Euskaltel for the most of his life, for most of his career. He's gonna
All of his
fit
career,
in. Actually,
isn't he?
yeah, I don't even know actually. But a team like Casio Royale or Movistar, I thought he would fit in better. But I mean, BMC picked him up. That's a long-term solution for them. Nope, but it's a solution right here and now. And that's how they're gonna roll with it, and that's how it's gonna be. I think we're gonna move on to the next topic. We talked about this quite one a lot. So I
Okay.
know this one you're gonna have a lot of opinions on, because we talked about the Tour de Saint Louis last week, but there's one topic we didn't talk about that race. There was a lot of shenanigans going on about that race. We had Kennedy Hayes got punched in the face in the sprint
Face. Yeah.
by an Argentinian rider. And also, Tyler Farrar got hit by the team car of said guy's team, like the guy who punched Kennedy Hayes in the face. He got run over in the neutral zone. Plus, there's also motorbikes who would give Argentinian underdogs a ride up the mountains. And that's why you'd see guys like Godoy and Moyano being in top 5. They got lift all the way up. What do you think about this, and how do you want to punish teams like this and races like this? Would you even support Tour de Saint Louis ever again?
No, I'm never supporting it ever again. They they showed horrible ethics. Just like, how could they possibly do that? They they're literally like giving the guys motor rides. Like, it's not even like the motors are pacing them. Like, they could just grab on for a little bit before a camera sees them. Maybe that's why they didn't have any cameras on the motorbikes, because they were giving their guys rides up the mountains.
Sounds like
They
it.
hit they punch guys in the face. They run over guys in their cars. Tyler Farah was like actually very hurt. It's not even like they just did it to get him like out of the contention. He was already in the caravan. This was on the mountain stage. They just ran him over blatantly for no reason. Why would they do this? They're such horrible people. And then they to add on to it, there's no testing at this race. There's no drug testing. So how do we know that these guys aren't dope too? Because there's no drug testing.
It's difficult. I know. Also, I think it was Taylor Finney who tweeted quite a lot about
Yeah.
this topic. He tweeted about Taylor Fry getting hit, and this race is not safe. And apparently, some of the younger guys got rides up the mountain, and this race was just total BS. And I mean, when a big guy like Taylor Finney realizes this and says it in
Called them out.
public, I mean, that is a big deal. Because normally you see these guys, they're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not gonna mention it because it's
Yeah.
bad morale and all that stuff. But when a guy actually says it, then it's on the edge of being really, really bad. And there's no way you can punish this other than the UCI just declining this as a race, saying you no longer have the license to be a race.
Maybe they could bring it down to a 2.2 or something.
But is that really
Make it
gonna hurt? I mean, it doesn't matter.
well.
It doesn't mean that they're gonna get any points anyway, because you go to the Tour de Saint Louis just to get some recognition. It's not the media or anything you go for.
Yeah.
So what would you accomplish by making the race less known? Because it's already very, very bad. Even the media coverage showed that. It was
Yeah, the only
terrible.
reason that anybody cares about it is because it's in January where there's not a lot of races.
Exactly. Plus, guys like Quintana are going to the race, so you kind of want to see which form are they in, how are they going to ride, and stuff like that. You're curious. But a race like this, it was actually talked about moving this race like later on, so it would have some sort of impact. But hearing about this, if you move the race and it's gonna have an impact, and it's like this, it's gonna have an impact, like people getting cheat people and stuff. I don't believe it's good enough. I would rather move the tour on under, on the season, later on the season, and let that have an impact.
You can't say that it should matter more and then rig it. Like, you
Exactly.
can't have it both ways. Get over it, people.
It's so tough. I mean, this topic. When I read this on cyclingnews.com, I was so mad. I mean, the feeling inside me was like, how can you do this? I don't like Taylor Farrar, but I mean, this ain't fair. I mean,
I'm just so happy that Finney called them out because, like you said, you don't expect them to make that kind of bold move when there's other people involved. You're like, wow, they wouldn't just, do that. There's a whole race. You don't want to, like, get in trouble with the UCI or something.
exactly.
But, I am happy that he called them out after Farah and DeHaze. I'm just... They can't get away with that, and I'm really glad that Finney called them out so that people know the truth. They know what's going on at least, and maybe that's just all that will come of it is that people will start to see that it's not a very nice race and that they're kind of rigging it. And if people see that and it hurts the reputation of it, maybe that's good enough for me for now.
I guess so. I mean, I don't think that Garmin Sharp is coming back next year.
No.
Actually, I don't even think Lotto's coming back next year, because if Kenny the Hayes got hit in the face and there was no
Yeah.
sanctions because of this, why would you ever put your your teammates into this position again? I mean, I don't think it's very nice to go there and get punched in the face because you're leading out Andre Greipel. I mean, it's not that fair. So that's kind of ridiculous. But I mean, anything else you want to add on to this week? There was 2 races today going on, but we don't have
Ah.
any information about these other than the results, because there was only live tickers and there were
Yeah.
results. That's kind of a shame, but that's how it is.
I
Uh,
can just say the one thing about Marseille.
yeah,
Marseille. I don't know. Yeah.
something you must say.
Uh. Yeah. What the hell happened?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Van 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 Bousen,
Yeah,
Plankert, they go 1-2. And then it's Dumoulin, Degenkolb, Vichot, Simone, like the guys you would expect to be up there. They're all third, fourth, or fifth, but apparently it was a bad sprint. So I'm very confused as to what happened, and that's what happens when there's no TV coverage. So,
exactly. It's a shame, but I mean, next week we're gonna have the Tour de Dubai to talk about, which is gonna be a very interesting race. We're gonna see like guys like Cavendish battling out with Tal
fair.
Farah. It's gonna be very exciting, guys. But we're nearing the end of this episode. You're gonna see the mass sprint on the screen right now. I'm actually looking like I'm gonna lose to Canwell. No, I win it on the line. So thank you guys for watching this episode. Please go to Baseball Lover's channel, subscribe to him, give him some love. He's very opinionated, and that's why he's on this show. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being on here, Baseball Lover, and we'll see you guys later.